Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome in to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network, and of course, sponsored by the amazing Morgan Trinkets. Man, it's a Friday night, man. We're in here, we're partying. Hopefully, partying harder than the Denver Broncos are during their bye week. Stay focused, Broncos. I'm not doing it alone, man. I got the whole posse that's already jumping in the chat. And I got to get to the horseman on the screen. My name's Keith Brugman, but I'm going to say hello to Mr. Trevor Rocket Man Salzman. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, Keith, and hope everybody in the chat's doing well. It's great to be here, and we're on to the bye week in Denver. Hopefully, a couple of players can get healthy, and just finish the season strong. That's what this is about. Reflect over the bye week, but finish the season strong and make the playoffs for the first time in a long time.
Sitting in a good spot, man. The Broncos, I can't believe this. We're talking about a late bye week, feeling good at the bye week, coming off a win in the bye week, in playoff contention. I mean, wow. I mean, who knew? Who would have even thought? Maybe Mile High Albert Dutchy, he might have. But I got the Jeudy, the Judge Moncrief next to me as well. How you doing, Judge?
What's up? What's up, everyone? Like Trevor said, get a couple people healthy for the bye. Hopefully, Sean Payton finds the running plays in his playbook during this bye, and we establish a run game during his last 4 games. And I think teams are not going to want to play us come playoff time.
Yes, the more dangerous we can get, the better off we're going to be as we head into this bye. We get to not only get healthy, but maybe rework some things, maybe rework the playbook. And if we get dangerous with a running game on top of what we got going on defensively and through the passing game, look out. Look out also for the chat, man. The chat coming in here early and often, like Mr. Scott Sigley coming in here. If I can get it. There we go. Good evening, horsemen and posse. Friday fun is upon us. Yeah, not only Friday fun, a bye week fun, man. This is like the non-anxiety, a little bit of a party, a little bit of release. And especially when you got a winning season, you're 8-5. You've had 13 games. You have 8 wins, Broncos country. Got to be happy about that. You're at the bye week. If this was a bad season, and you have this late of a bye, you're just like, oh, geez, how many changes do we make? And just who do we have on this? No, we're not talking about any of that. We're talking about the Broncos in the playoffs, hopes, aspirations, and things looking good, just like the rest of the posse saying, just stopping in. David Yunkin over on YouTube just saying, just stopping in to say, have a great show, everybody. Well, thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. It's been nice seeing you in the chat, being a part of the posse as of lately. A guy who's always part of the chat, Mr. Michael Ronquillo, coming in here saying, good evening, Keith, Trevor, and Jeudy. Go Bo Broncos. I'm going to be double dipping on the side, making sure I keep up with stars. I have a feeling on this one that Michael's on my other chat and on the probably over on the Denver Bronco Roundup page and over there on Facebook. I'll check that out. And but hey, good evening to you, and a nice little Mile High salute to you as well, Michael, with the orange and blue hearts and the Mile High salute. Let's see what else. I like this. Graham's coming in. So let's say let's make it 9, and Paul saying hello, what's up, peeps, and Roy's in here saying I'm here, horseman. My old guys are out on mall shooting. Ooh, Jesus. Or geez. Sorry, didn't mean to put that out there, but geez. He says, yes, I'm retired, but I won't be there still. I want to be there still. Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, buddy, I understand. Nearly retired. I hope that all of your friends and fellow officers are taking care out there in the field. And Albert is over here saying only true crazy fans, orange and blue hearts, and we are all very crazy about what's going on. Paul came in here really early, though, and he had a question. I just want to throw it up there, and then I'll get to kind of more of the agenda. Saying our good friend and sponsor, Pearl Heater, came in on a different pod, but had a fantastic question. Who was the best free agent pickup this offseason? Trevor, I'm going to start with you, man. Who do you think is the best free agent pickup we had this offseason?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? And this is a guy that I've been kind of critical of this year, but I'm going to give him his roses right now, and hopefully he can stay healthy. I think Brandon Jones is, this is one of the better pickups the Broncos made this past offseason. I think you can make the case for Malcolm Roach and John Franklin Myers as well. But I think that, everything that Brandon Jones has brought to the table has been impressive. And I just think he needs to see the field, and he's getting an opportunity in Denver to really flourish if he's healthy. The secondary kind of struggled, on Monday night, but I think they can battle back, in this defense overall wise throughout this season has been very, very good for this team, and including the secondary. So Brandon Jones have had a pick, but I think you can make the case and make the argument for many different people, and players throughout this team that make an impact. It's not just one guy on all sides of this team. They've just been efficient, and many guys have stepped up to the plate, and you're seeing why and what that's transpired to with the record.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a team, man. Takes an absolute team. Can't just be one guy's. We're out there fishing in the free agent market a little bit this last offseason. We're big spenders. Jeudy, where does your vote go for? Because we got some votes coming in from the posse as well.
That was going to be my pick too, but I will piggyback off that just a little bit for a sec. We definitely aren't missing Justin Simmons at all. What a lot of people thought we were going to. I think he's been better on the field than what Justin Simmons was last year. So, I've been pleasantly surprised with that pickup. But I will give one other guy who I think has helped majorly in this run game is Malcolm Roach.
Yeah.
This defense was good last year, but it was not good against the run. And between him and John Franklin Myers, they really have solidified, this run game and allowed Zach Allen to take it to the next level. So Malcolm Roach, just because he was a rotational guy in the Saints, bigger role here. Sean Payton knew what he had there, and it's played out very well.
Yeah, for all the hey, this is a Saints reunion tour for Sean Payton. The guys he picked up, a lot of these guys have worked out pretty well for the Denver Broncos. That's just one instance and one Malcolm Roach. But it's funny, the same name came to every single one of our minds. I was going to go Brandon Jones as well. Whether it be the Justin Simmons loss and him stepping up, or the fact that he didn't have one preseason snap heading into this, I think he's by far one of the most surprising, as well as one of the most productive ones that we have seen. He's out there. He's covering tight ends. He's covering wide receivers. He's coming on blitzes. He understands this defense probably better than just about anybody out there. But that being said, I love the Malcolm Roach, and maybe we'll talk about just a few of these. Graham was really excited. He wanted Josh Reynolds to work out. Josh Reynolds is a guy that's no longer with our team as he's moved on, and hey, got an opportunity someplace else as well, so that's good as well. But I think that's anybody else. I was kind of hoping that was going to be a number two, I think, at the very beginning of the season, because we didn't know what we had for a number two, and especially once Jerry Jeudy was moved on from. Jeudy, your thoughts, man? Josh Reynolds, your just quick thoughts. We'll run through a few names here.
I did want it to work out. He was probably Denver's one big signing this offseason, but it is a blessing that it didn't work out, because it meant that other guys on cheaper deals, rookies that you drafted, are working out. Vele, he's solidified himself as your number two next year, in my opinion. It's gotten Franklin on the field more, which is a good thing. Allow him to develop with Nix and stuff. So I don't have a problem with him not working out for those reasons.
Fair enough. Trevor, anything to add?
You would want, another veteran wide receiver, to bring in, not knowing what you have with these rookies. So I think it was, I can understand the reasoning for it. But here's my argument. People want to argue, Little Jordan Humphrey or Tim Patrick and Vele. I understand why Tim Patrick was moved on from to get Vele involved. But I think you could make the argument, was it better to bring in Josh Reynolds over Tim Patrick? That might have been the better argument because, obviously they both swapped teams. We'll never know. I mean, it's hindsight's 2020. So it didn't, unfortunately didn't work out for Josh Reynolds, but he landed on his feet pretty quickly. Seemed like every player the Broncos have moved off of, Greg Dulcich as well, they get picked up pretty quickly when they're out there available. So, I mean, you'd want Josh Reynolds to work out. It didn't work out, but I think for many different reasons, but I think that the wide receivers growing and getting better is something to more of a positive takeaway from what's going on. I think that's really the big reason why I think you're not seeing Josh Reynolds, a Denver Bronco today.
Yeah, I'll still go to bed at night feeling good about thinking that Blake Watson maybe took Tim Patrick's spot if it really came down to it. Michael Ronquillo dropped 100 stars when he came in here and said hello, but his vote was one John Franklin Myers. I'll just leave this to you two. Jeudy, we like we said, there's names galore. Trevor started rattling them off when he gave his first answer. This was one of them as well. But talk about John Franklin Myers and what he's done, Jeudy.
I'll say that this was Denver's probably, I don't know how you want to word it, best draft pick, because to get John Franklin Myers for a 6th round to trade for that kind of talent was, I mean, they stole him from the Jets, in my opinion. He's been great. He's, like I said, being a starter, he's allowed Zach Allen to flourish and, be your best defensive lineman. He's been a huge part in why this run defense is top 10 and why they're getting pressure on the quarterback. Massive upgrade over Harris from last year. I can't really say anything bad about him. Hopefully he's on Denver's priority to get him signed long-term this offseason.
Very good. Like I said, I'm just going to leave it to you two. Trevor, anything to add, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I think John Franklin Myers is a big presence to this defensive line. He's a big, upgrade over Jonathan Harris. He's really helped, I think, unleash Zach Allen even more. Jeudy mentioned it. I think John Franklin Myers in particular has really helped Zach Allen. Denver's pass rush win rate is 48%, and that's 3rd in the league. They're 1st in sacks and 1st in pressures. I mean, a lot of that is John Franklin Myers. We kind of called that on this very show that we said this might be Denver's best pickup of the offseason, and I think that's standing pat today. I think Brandon Jones has definitely helped, make his case as well. But John Franklin Myers, it's hard to argue against that pickup and how great of a pickup it was. I still think it's one of Denver's best pickups throughout the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. David Youngkin coming in says, at the beginning of the season, it was a bunch of nobodies. Now we, the Broncos fans, know, but other people don't. And you're right. Other people other than those teams, once we release these players, they're all getting picked up. But you're right. It's like Monday Night Football. And, I'm sure if you're an out-of-market, fan watching the Denver Broncos, for the first time, it probably didn't feel like you knew hardly anybody other than Bo Nix as far as names that were really being out there, and maybe Pastor Chan as well. So, Michael Ronquillo comes in here, and he's brought up this, and I'm going to piggyback it off another one. He says, wide receiver Devon Vele is looking good. And then a little bit further down, Paul said, that's the next question. Best draft pick, not named Bo Nix on the Broncos. I know it's kind of on the spot, gentlemen, but we got the posse hopping with some questions. Jeudy, best draft pick, not named Bo Nix by this Denver Broncos team.
Devon Vele. He's allowed you to move on from Tim Patrick. He allowed you to move on from now Josh Reynolds. He solidified himself as the number 2 wide receiver on this team this year. I haven't seen him really drop any passes this year. He's been great over the middle. Nix is, a couple of times he's not afraid to throw that over the middle pass, and he will lead him into big hits. He's not afraid to still catch the ball. I think he's been great this year, and he's only going to get better.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough argument to go against that one. Trevor, Devon Vele is Michael Ronquillo's favorite maybe as well. Certainly it's Jeudy's. Different direction, same direction?
Yeah, it's hard to argue against Devon Bailey. I mean, what, a 7th-round draft pick, and Sean Payton has compared him to Marcus Coulson, during the Saints days. So I think that's pretty high praise for a 7th-round draft pick. I think it just goes to show how much Sean Payton just really values Bailey, and I think Jeudy just nailed it. I mean, Bailey just he's emerging each and every week. He's really, I mean, he worked his way up the depth chart. You don't see a lot of 7th-round draft picks kind of get that starting nod. They have to kind of work their way up the depth chart, and I think Bailey's done a great job doing that. And I think Sean Payton, we give Sean Payton credit for this. He's allowing these young wide receivers to grow with Bo Nix, and I think that is very, very important to this team now and in this team's future.
Yeah, Roy's excited. Bailey is doing good. Let's let him develop and get out there and get more touches. This guy is a guy that's really developed into that role, has been a big piece. And if you're talking about a guy being the number 2 on your team and an offense that's actually, productive as well, it's different if we had like a non-productive team that couldn't put up, 41 points at home. But, hey, we go out there, we get it done, and Bailey's a big part of that, a huge part of that. And he's a 7th-round pick. I'll give an honorable mention to one Jonah Ellis. I know that he was taken in the 2nd round, but he had so much in front of him. He has so much talent in front of him that I didn't know when, if, he'd be able to hit the field, even if he was going to hit the field this year. I don't think we expected him to necessarily be a part of this Denver Broncos defense, but he's being integrated in. And when he's being integrated in, he doesn't look like he's a fish out of water. He's looking like a 2nd-round pick that can actually develop into this role, and we'll have another Baron Browning issue. David Youngkin, thanks so much for coming in. I know that you're ailing, sir. Please take care of yourself, and thank you, and good night. Always good to see you. Bailey has been good and bad, so let him be. I haven't, Roy, I'll be honest, and I know that you're out there. I'll be honest, from a fan perspective, you bring it, and you bring it real every single time, man. You're not going to jump into the hype. And I can appreciate that probably better than you ever realize. But show me where the bad on Bailey. I haven't seen a whole lot of bad on Bailey. I was just rewatching the Browns this afternoon. So, great. From a 7th-round production, it's really tough to say that this guy's not doing a great job out there, looking really good. Always have ability to develop and get better. Don't get me wrong. We're never a finished product. Jerry Rice wasn't a finished product, and he'll tell you that. He was always working on his craft. So, Bailey's hands are amazing. Gentlemen, let's get into some topics du jour. Jeudy, I want to jump this right over to you, man. It was part of the agenda. It was part of what you brought in behind the scenes, man. And it's been something that the Denver Broncos community has been maybe jumping up and down about all season as well, man. The bye week is here. We have the opportunity. This running game has not been productive. This running game has not necessarily been helping Bo Nix, even though that's what the Monday Night Football crew was saying. This running game could use some tweaks, man. Tell me what this running game needs in order to get going, not just to change a running back. If you have some ideas outside of that as well, I'd like to hear them. But I know that a change at running back is probably going to be at the top of the order. What do you got for me, bud?
Sean Payton's got to commit to it. Monday night was a good example of not committing to it. I mean, one drive in particular, I remember it was 2nd and 2, and you threw the ball 2 times and got nothing out of it and had to punt. And like you said, switching players. At this point, I've seen enough of Javonte Williams. The last 2 games, 12 carries, -1 yard. That's pretty hard. That's pretty hard to do, really. I don't know.
Jody's like, give me some pads and a cup. I'll go out there. Jody's ready to roll. He can do it.
I know why earlier in the season he was in the doghouse, but I don't know why now he won't commit to Audric Estime. I mean, he averages over 5 yards a carry. He trusted him late in the Kansas City game. He was in on the last drive. and then we don't see nothing of him except a few carries. There's something there, and I don't know what it is. But, going into the playoffs, that is something that's holding me back from saying Denver can really make a deep run, because we've seen Bo Nix in bad weather game. It wasn't good his first, his first outing.
Mm.
And you get in a snow game. I mean, 5 of 7 teams in the AFC are probably going to be in cold weather teams. So you need to find a run game that will take a lot of pressure off of Nix. I know Monday night Sean Payton was trying to, and you could see it, he was trying to showcase Bo Nix, and I think he over showcased him a little bit by throwing the ball and stuff, and got away from some things. But that is one thing going forward. I wish that we would commit to it more, because it's going to be important, come playoff time.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. We need to get this going. I would like to see more efficiency. I've been calling for 100+ yard single rusher. Please, we need to get that one behind us. It needs to happen. Trevor, what are your thoughts, man? I know that I'm going to call you out, Jeudy. I know that he's a Notre Dame guy, so Audric Estime is the top of his list. Is Audric Estime the answer? Do we need to see more Jaleel McLaughlin? Is it Javonte until the end of the season? Is it the blocking that needs to be better? Because that's one of the things that Pearl brought up. And hello, Pearl, how you doing? Better blocking would certainly help. Where do you think this can get better, and how do we improve it, especially if we have a little bit of a break and a little bit of time to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mixture of different things. I don't think it's the blocking, because Denver's run and block win rate is 74%. That's 5th in the NFL. That's good enough to where I think that we should be seeing more production from the running game. Javonte Williams, he misses holes. I think he's been inconsistent. I will say, though, I think a big reason why Sean Payton hasn't completely went away from Javonte is because he's probably gives you the best opportunity to be a all down back, a 3 down back, because he can work in the passing game. He's a good pass blocker. It's just he doesn't see the running lanes very well. He doesn't read that very well. So I think there's inconsistency in this running game and in this running back room just in total. And I don't know that Estime, how much Sean Payton believes in Estime fully yet. I think that's one of those reasons why Estime's in Sean Payton's kind of doghouse sometimes, where I just don't know that he has the full confidence that the fumbles won't become an issue again as they have been this year, or just many different reasons where I don't think Estime just hasn't taken the horns kind of and kind of just done anything with it pretty much. I mean, he had a really good first half, but in the second half against the Chiefs game, there was nothing. So it's just, where do you go? I think it's a difficult situation for Sean Payton in this offense. This is why running backs got to be top of the priority list in this offseason. You need a running back. Right now, they're just kind of limping through the season with the running game, or non-existent running game, I should say, and the running backs they have. But maybe Tyler Badee becomes something in here pretty soon. We'll see. I don't know how healthy he is. I don't think that there's a pure answer to the solving this running game right now. It seems like, though, the last 2 years under Sean Payton's belt, this team just has not been able to run the football very well, dating back to last year. So they got to figure something out, though, going into the playoffs. You can't have Bo Nix, being the only thing that gets this offense going and moving the football. You got to have a running game and be more of a balanced attack against really good defenses, really good run defenses. So we shall see, how this team adjusts. Hopefully this bye week gives them an opportunity to kind of look at more film and to adjust and really put the best player out there that's going to get you production in the run game. Because right now it's this run game is just kind of limping through right now, and they're very inconsistent.
I'm going to wrap up everything that you guys probably just said and try to put it in a bow and my own thoughts, because I think we're all on the same page. I think that when it comes to how Sean Payton is utilizing this game, and I really like this comment by Paulie saying, I think Sean Payton has asked Bo to work on his passing. You were talking about showcasing a little bit earlier, and he is having Bo hold off on running. I would even say, I think we've tried to showcase Bo. I think we've been showcasing the passing game more than we've been showcasing the running game. I think if Sean Payton wanted to go out there and he wanted to have that downhill, grind it out, we're going to win on the ground attack, Audric Estime probably gives us our best opportunity. But exactly what Trevor was just saying, when you talk about a passing game, right now we have great blocking out of Javonte. He gets out of the backfield and can be a great little dump off in just about any opportunity on any passing down. Go watch any type of film, go rewatch a game. You'll see him dumping out of the backfield on just about any of them and doing a little button hook of some sort, trying to get open underneath and be that guy available. And he does fantastic at it too. This is a guy that may not be productive in the run game, but you feel like if he can just get going there, as Trevor said, he's a 3-down back. If you want to go out there and you want to go ahead and just pound it down their throat, I agree. You need to get Audric Estime, and I agree that that's something that we need to start doing. We need to start trying to get this run game going. If we have an opportunity at any point in any game, go to it, Sean Payton. Start getting it going. If you're up by 10 and you're feeling pretty good about where you're at, start running the ball, start running the ball, start running the ball. Get it going. Get some feel for these guys because you're going to need it. You're going to need it later. So great comments, guys. I want to running back, Audric Estime will be the number 1 running back in the 2025 NFL season, says Michael Ronquillo. Jeudy, how does that sound?
Well, I think from what Peyton said, I agree with that. I mean, he was high on the pick. I just I don't understand why he's not getting more touches, because if you're going to leave him in on the last drive versus Kansas City and then he doesn't get touches, that makes no sense to me. He didn't fumble the ball. You trusted him not to fumble the ball. And then all of a sudden he gets these little scattering of one carry here, one carry there. There's something going on. And to me, it's more than Sean Payton is just – I know he's trying to showcase Bo Nix and he's trying to give the middle finger to everyone. Hey, look, I told you that this is the guy I wanted and you doubted him and all this, and look what I'm doing with him. I know that's part of it, but this is a little bit different than the NFC South when you were the 1 seed and you're hosting games in a dome and stuff. You're going to play in cold weather, most likely, and you're going to need a run game.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Sorry to throw you underneath the bus there. Paul saying, Sean, I think this might be the sentiments of Broncos country. Don't talk about the running game anymore. Be about it. And we're ready for the talk to be over.
I'll move off Estime when I see. I mean, yeah.
Oh no, he's saying
early,
Sean, not Jeudy. He's saying Sean.
But I mean, going forward, until I still will ride that horse until I see games like Javonte Williams has put up, saying he can do it, because I've seen a lot of his games in college, and this guy's a beast. So, use him.
Can I?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
I just want really quickly. I know, Michael. I want to address Michael's comment about Audric Estime being the Broncos' top running back in 2025. See, to me, I disagree. As of right now, even with some production from Estime, you need to go out there and invest in the running back room again. You have to reinvest. Javonte Williams, if he's out the door, I mean, you're talking about a 5th-round draft pick that you're having to invest in that running back. And he's shown maybe flashes here and there, but fumbling issues. And I don't think it's just that Sean Payton wants to showcase Bo Nix. I think that who in this running back room can you trust right now? That's why I think he gets away from the run game so much. But I think they need to invest into a running back. This is a pretty deep draft class when it comes to running backs. Wouldn't be surprised to see Denver take one in the top 3 rounds, or invest into it in free agency possibly. So I don't think that you can go into next year with Audric Estime as your number 1 running back. You have to invest into a running back after this season. You have Bo Nix on a rookie contract. You need to get him some help, not just in that wide receiver room, not just in the tight end room, but you need a running back that can help kind of carry the load and take some of that pressure off Bo Nix. You cannot be cheap coming into this offseason. That $53 million dead cap off Russell Wilson starts to kind of get a little lower, $32 million. So you have more money to spend as well, more assets for this team to get better. I think it starts at running back. You have to improve this running back room in the offseason. I think it's top of the list, at least for me.
Yeah, I'll disagree. Blake Watson, Tyler Beatty or Bidet, McLaughlin, Audric Estime. I mean, yeah, you can try to bring in another guy, but you're talking about a hit it out of the park type of guy. We've already have a ton on our roster. We're talking about throwing away a lot of opportunity that we just brought on, maybe even just last year, if we're talking about going out there and looking at a new running back. Well, how much have we seen of Estime? How much have we seen of Watson? How much have we seen of Bidet? We haven't seen hardly any of all three of those guys. We're just going to throw those guys out and say we need to bring in a top running back, maybe use some of the top draft capital. I think there's a lot of different options that we could go, whether we're investing in the trenches, whether we go after tight end, whether we go after a cornerback, whether we go after another wide receiver. I'm just not going to go out there and say it needs to be at the top of the list.
Well, but what I'm saying is, so Estime's a 5th-round pick. If Javonte's off the roster, you have a bunch of undrafted guys that you're going to rely upon. Estime's a 5th-round pick. What's he showing you? What's this running back room getting you right now? He ain't getting you nowhere. So you have to invest. You have a rookie quarterback.
They're giving you about the same amount.
You have to get something. It cannot be just the same running back room next year. It's not getting you anywhere this year. I disagree.
We'll disagree, but I'll tell you this: Blake Watson was one of the leading rushers ever in his division.
He's on the practice squad,
and you haven't seen him yet. And you haven't even seen him.
Why? Why? There's something he isn't showing. He isn't seeing it.
You can't see because you can't. Hey, just really quick, because you can't see Audric Estime and you can barely see Jaleel McLaughlin until the last few weeks.
Why?
Because there are choices that are being made by coaches, and the running game has absolutely no presence in Sean Payton's mind over the last 4 or 5 games.
I disagree.
None. Okay, we'll disagree. This is going to be we should get into a fun heated show one of these days, because that kind of got a little bit hoofda. That being said, I wanted to get in here. I wanted to say hello to some of our good friends, though, like Karen, who came over on YouTube a little bit ago and said, "Good evening, all. Glad to have this bye week so Riley Moss can get healthy." We'll have to get into that in just a moment. I kind of hit a break here in just a moment as well, but Clayton's also in here saying, hey guys, smash that like and share button. And hey, great little lead in. Not only please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you can to help Rocky Mountain Sports Network and the Denver Bronco Roundup. We appreciate that. We also have an amazing sponsor. That amazing sponsor is Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets is your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, and Estate Gold at wholesale prices. Once a nationwide company, having some Jeudy issues, so it's throwing me off a little bit. Once a nationwide company, now they're just in your backyard. Northern Colorado, Southern Wyoming, and tell you what, if you're looking for a place to go for some holiday stocking stuff or some holiday presents underneath the tree, head on over to Etsy and type in Morgan Trinkets Co. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. I'm telling you what, amazing stuff. If you want some of the best around, like I said, 34 years experience in the business, it doesn't get much better than that. Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold at wholesale prices. They all also have silver, all 100% sterling silver as well. Need to check that out. Head on over to Etsy. Morgan Trinkets Co. is the name. Morgan Trinkets Co. So, Jeudy, take it easy over there with all your cameras. I don't know what you got going on over there. But we're back, and we need to talk about some Riley Moss, man. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. I don't know how much more of the tape you got to go back and look. Obviously, nobody was really happy with one Wallace out there covering one Jerry Jeudy for the most part. What are your thoughts on Riley Moss, his role in this defense, and how much he was missed? I'm going to start with you, Trevor. Well, actually, I'll go over to Jeudy because Trevor, you kind of made me mad about that. No, you were just talking a little bit more this last section. So I'm going to go over to the judge here real quick and go to him first because we just got done debating.
I think it's two things. I don't think Levi Wallace was good at all Monday night. But I think it also goes back to Vance Joseph. Your 2 worst defensive games of the year, you switched what you do for basically one player. You switched it for Lamar Jackson, and you switched it for Levi Wallace. And like I've said, live by the sword, die by the sword. You're a blitzing man team. That's what's got you where you are so far. You need to continue to play that. Don't change everything up for one person. That being said, if Moss is out come after the bye week, I think the move was made late in that game. They went to the rookie Chris Abrams Strains. He's much better of a man guy than Levi Wallace, and I think that's the move you've got to go with. Levi Wallace is a zone guy, and he just that's not what we do. We're not a zone team, and you could see it, especially the Ravens game and Denver. It just picked us apart.
Very good. Just rewinding a little bit. Karen's out on Javonte, says McLaughlin should be the starter and just get rid of Javonte now. He has never made a difference, so no need to keep him. I'd say no need to difference. It hasn't
Can
made
I
a
ask a
difference since his
question on that?
injury. Just real quick, I just want to get to a couple other comments. All right, and then you can ask a question. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Because we have Graham in here ready for us just to go at it. Maybe it's me and you now. Fight, fight, fight. Just kidding. So, all right, go ahead. What's your question on that, buddy?
Why is it that, Greg Dulcich, he drops some passes in a few games and then he's benched and then eventually released? Josh Reynolds gets in this little off-field thing and then he's released. I mean, why is it that Javonte still has, he's still starting? After 2 games of going 12 carries -1, that's pretty hard to do. I mean, you can fall forward and get 2 yards. That's pretty hard to do. Why does he still have a role on this team?
Well, I don't think that we're seeing any of the guys on this roster for the most part, other than maybe McLaughlin, and we need to see more of them. So I'll go over to Trevor. Why aren't we seeing more of somebody else?
I mean, I think you've seen Javonte in the first quarter, but they went away from him after that. I think that Sean Payton made that adjustment to McLaughlin. Also, I think the running back situation going forward, and I'm not a fan of it. It's the matchup base. How can they take advantage of different defenses, and each one of these running backs adds something different. They have a different skill set. McLaughlin with the speed, Javonte in the passing game, his pass blocking estimate. He's a big bulk power running back. So, I mean, I think you've seen Sean Payton kind of pull the trigger a little bit quicker in the first quarter off of Javonte, giving them the carries to McLaughlin. For me, it's either Estime or it's Javonte. I think McLaughlin's explosive enough. He's going to get involved regardless. How much involved, we shall see, but he gets involved every single game. It seems like it's more of an Estime Javonte problem. Which one are you going to, every game? It's a guessing game, and so those are the two that I think it's more of a competition between. I think with McLaughlin's speed and explosiveness, you're going to get him involved in the game, regardless of the matchup. It just depends on what Javonte and Esme, which one of those that Sean Payton feels comfortable with going with in that game.
I heard someone say the other week, and I don't know if you buy this, and I haven't seen it lately, so I don't know. Run the wheels off of Javonte because you're not bringing him back, and save Estime for next year. I don't know what you guys think of that.
My quick thoughts. I thought just the opposite. Showcase Javonte. That way, if you had any opportunity to have value, there's might be something there at some point. That was my thought process from the very beginning of the season, if you think about it that way. But yeah, I could see also at this point just kind of running the tires out at this point. Trevor, your thoughts on that?
I'll just be quick. What does them moving off Javonte, what does that do for this team this year? It does nothing. I think you'd rather have him on this roster and kind of see and try to use him, different roles and see what that role might be. But I think just releasing Javonte Williams flat out, I don't think that solves much of anything. So I think there's a role for him on this roster. I just don't think it's going to be the primary back. As they obviously thought he was going to be at the start of the season. At least we're hoping that he would be at the start of the season.
Yeah. Flashed it on the screen a little bit, and everyone kind of reacted to it. Maybe they're reacting to the screen, or maybe they're reacting to the comments live. But Mr. Albert Mile High Dutchy came in, making it a 4 horseman show, saying, hello, DBR team, and all the fans and the posse. And then, of course, we got everyone saying hello as well. I did want to get Pearl says she has a big gem show is next weekend, not this weekend. Darn, she's going to miss the Broncos show. Let me know exactly where that's at so we can tell everybody where that gem show is at. I totally forgot. I should have wrote it down when you were talking about it last time, but she's in here saying hello to one Mr. Mile High Albert Dutchy. and as well as Paul. But he also says, where's Mathis? We started getting off on the little bit on the Riley Moss and how much he's needed. I'll say this, going back and looking at the 22 film, especially, I got to throw this back a little bit. I think you know who Wallace is. You know who he is. He's not the fast cover guy. So this was an issue to begin with. VJ should have seen it coming. And when he started getting ran all over the place, you should have adjusted. And on the big answer touchdown that Jeudy's, doing his fall backwards into the end zone at the end, why are there two safeties on Njoku? Why is Wallace left alone on Jerry Jeudy? Makes no sense. You can't sit there and just blame it all on Wallace when two safeties bite on Njoku, who's 12 yards deep, running an out route. What are you doing? You gotta keep a guy back there. So I'm not just down with, hey, we got to throw Wallace to the wolves and he's absolutely terrible. There's a lot of blame to go around, from the personnel on the field to the coach on the sideline. But where is Mathis is the question. Do you think that we end up seeing a little bit more Damari Mathis in this rotation? We've had a huge rotation of corners as we've seen Abrams Drain come in. Trevor, I'll start with you. Where's Mathis?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know, though, that like just changing personnel is going to help, because CJ Abrams Drain, he got beat as well. And, that was a pass interference. So I think it's something where the safeties just didn't help Levi Wallace. I'm with you, Keith. I don't blame just Levi Wallace. He had no help over the top from any of his safeties. And they were motioning Jerry Jeudy over to Levi Wallace one-on-one all the time in that game. And that should have been something that VJ and, I mean, the people upstairs on the defense side of the ball should have seen that. You have to see that earlier. And no matter what matchup, you think teams aren't going to try to take advantage of that going forward. I mean, they're going to, So it's, I don't just blame it on Levi Wallace. Secondary wasn't the greatest, against Cleveland. And so it's not just one guy. Cody Barton got targeted seemed like all game as well. So, yeah, I mean, we can try to change out personnel, but I just think schematically we can be better and help kind of over the top, with the lack of speed we have at cornerback. Even if they roll out Levi Wallace again, okay, we'll help him with the safety over the top so he's not getting beat like that. This is a guy that's a veteran in the NFL. He knows what he's doing, and I'm sure that he's down on himself, for this game. How can you not be when you played it? So I think the Brandon Jones injury, Paul just said it in here, also had an effect on it too. So, yeah, I mean, just a lot of different combinations of situations that went the wrong way for Denver. And it's got to be fixed over the bye week, and they got to adjust as long as Riley Moss is out.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say, I'm like 3/4 of the way through the 22 tape, and there's like 35, 40 yards that Jerry Jeudy has off of one Pat Surtain covering him as well.
Yeah.
And I still got about a quarter to go. So, Jeudy, your thoughts, man? Levi Wallace, not his best game, but where's Damari Mathis was the question. What do you think we're doing in the secondary, especially if Riley Moss is maybe a slower recover time? Because that's really what we're talking about here, is Riley Moss's absence in this game.
I think they moved to Chris Abrams Drains, and you probably see more of Mathis in the dime. But this goes back, like I said earlier, to VJ. You've got to run what's gotten you here so far. You can't switch your whole defense up or switch your whole defense up because of one player. And he's done it 2 games this year, and it's the 2 games that we've given up a bunch of yards and didn't look like our normal defense. If you lose the game running what you do and give up big yards, so be it. But we haven't seen that happen yet this year, so I don't know why change everything up for one person. That also being said, I did say numerous times in our chat Monday that PS2 needed to take the bull by the horns and just go cover Jerry Jeudy. If that meant he gives up a few yards, so be it, but he wasn't giving up 200.
Yep. They tried to follow him. Coach came out and talked about it. They did a lot of motioning in order to try to get him, different matchups, and, you don't want to give away everything that you're doing. If you're just running with them, they know you're in man, and then that puts you in a different position on a different side of the ball. So they tried to play it coy. It didn't obviously work, but the safety help didn't work over the top. Paul saying, man, it needs to come back regardless. So
And it didn't help that Brandon Jones left with his groin injury. I mean, that
yeah.
put Devon Keys in the game, and we've seen he's not the greatest guy out there. So, those, you were already down Moss, and then you lost Brandon Jones. That didn't help as well. So
yeah. Kenny Kirkpatrick of the Amazing K&K Sports Show has been in here. Well, he's been in here on the show before. He's been a host. He's been a co-host on one of the best draft shows I think I've ever been a part of and ever will be a part of until maybe next year, right around the corner now. But he came in here. He had a few questions. I didn't mean to ignore you. Chat's blowing up. Posse, you guys are amazing. He says he does have one Broncos-related question. He says, do you think the Broncos should have elevated Quan Alexander to the roster? Of course, we lost him. He looked pretty good in Detroit on Thursday, he says. Your thoughts, man? Quan Alexander did have, a little bit of time on the Denver Broncos playing field, Trevor. Didn't look all that bad. Did we miss out on an opportunity there? What are your thoughts?
I mean, you had to choose one way or another if they wanted Quan Alexander or Zach Cunningham. So, I mean, it's they'd end up choosing, Zach Cunningham. I think either one of them would have been a different roster. They just kind of picked those guys up at the right time, and we were able to get both of them and kind of try to maximize them to the best of their abilities, obviously elevating them the games that they did, 3 games each. So, I mean, did they miss something? It's hard to tell. I mean, I think that because we haven't seen a ton of Zach Cunningham right now. I think Zach Cunningham is overall probably a better just in total at this point in time in his career. But that's nothing to point of where Quan Alexander can't help that Detroit's defense. They obviously are dealing with injury issues over there, and I don't like I said earlier, it's another former Bronco that they've gotten rid of that's just getting picked up. It seems like right away. On the open market when they become available. So, it's going to be interesting to see how Zach Cunningham pans out. But, I think they chose him for a reason. They obviously have confidence in Cunningham, what he can do.
Yeah, very good, man. Anything to add, Jeudy? I kind of like what Karen has to say. I don't know if it was a direct relation, but we have a young team, and it's going to keep growing. Maybe an opportunity to stay young at that position. But what are your thoughts as we moved on from Quan?
Pretty much what Trevor said. I think it was one half dozen of the other. It was Quan or, Zach Cunningham. It was, I guess, a coin flip, really. I mean, they went out as soon as our old linebacker got hurt, and they picked both of them up right away.
Alex Singleton, yeah.
Alex Singleton, as soon as he got hurt, they went and picked both those guys up, basically the same day. I think it was just basically a coin flip. I think the real question is when are you going to see Drew Sanders back and what his role is? I think that's the guy that they want to see and where he plays. I'd like to see him play in the middle, because if he can play in the middle, he can solve a lot of things for you that you don't have to draft next year and different things. And I think these last 4 games, I think they're going to try to get him some playing time to see what he can do.
You think he's ready? You think he could take over that spot? And do you think of 4 games remaining is enough time to make you feel good enough come draft day that's going to be okay, Jeudy? And then I'd like to get your thoughts, Trevor.
Maybe for next year. I definitely don't think that he's going to come in and just take that spot and run with it. One, because I think Cody Barton and his name's escaped. The other linebacker is escaping my name. Sternad. I think Sternad, he's filled in pretty well for Alex Singleton to the point that there's really no need to make the switch. I think you just want to see what Sanders can do going forward, because that can solidify. Do you bring Alex Singleton back? Do you pay him the money? What you do there?
Very good. Jeudy, like I said, I want to get your thoughts on this one as well. I mean, Jeudy, Trevor, I'm sorry. Doing a lot of things on the side over here, man. I'm trying to keep up. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, all good. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell what Drew Sanders' role is going to be right now. Is he an edge, is he an edge rusher, or is he inside linebacker? I know that on the depth charts inside linebacker, but Sean Payton doesn't seem like they've committed to that quite yet. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know how he sees the field much this year unless there's an injury that happens. I mean, again, you have Zach Cunningham that's barely seen the field too right now. So you have Jonah Ellis and and other edge rushers there that are probably ahead of Drew Sanders right now. So I think it might maybe more of a next year where he makes more of an impact. Maybe he's played special teams this year. I'm not sure. It's one of those things where it's just good to have him around and have him, around the team and practicing and continuing to get better. I think he's more of a developmental year probably for Drew Sanders as he's coming back from that major injury. Next year, hopefully he'll be back and ready to go because they need him.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. It'll be, man. We talked about so many different topics this evening. I think it's going to be such it's so great. Again, I just want to talk about this being 8-5. Heading into the bye, feeling good about your Denver Broncos, knowing that you're in the playoff hunt, getting to sit back and just watch Sunday and Monday just unfold in front of us, see what happens, and go from there. It's a great position to be in, Broncos country. Enjoy it, live it. I told everybody we need to get behind this team. It feels like there's something. Hey, here it is. I wasn't as positive with my record prediction. Maybe we'll talk about that next week as we get to some topics. But man, I'm going to be excited about the off season and what we can now add and not quote unquote figure out. You know what I mean? I feel like we're really in a great position moving forward, and these next 4 games are going to be amazing. The one thing I was going to say is I'm always excited as we take on these next 4 games. I have a lot of optimism as far as the potential outcome of these next 4 games. We'll get into that in the next couple of episodes here, gentlemen. But there's always a player or two that really steps up, and I'm excited to see who that player is going to be. This is the last stretch as we head into the playoffs, and there's always that unique player that seems to come out of nowhere and really ends up being a big piece, especially if you head into the playoffs and can really propel your team. I'm looking for that player. Maybe I'll keep my eyes out as well, but I'm going to keep my eyes out on the posse and start getting some final thoughts from you, gentlemen. Man, this has been a fantastic episode, and I got to make sure that I that I didn't miss out on anything over here. So, Trevor, get some final thoughts around this episode, and I'll make sure we're not missing anything.
Yeah, I think that it's important to talk about this team now and what they're doing now, and then what we can look into the future a little bit more. I know we had a kind of a heated debate earlier, and which is fine. It's great. It's going to be a great offseason. I think hopefully everybody here enjoys it, and me and Keith, I'm sure we'll be getting into it even more, and Jeudy too, and Albert too. We all will. All got to chime in. So no, I mean, and everybody enjoy your weekend. Watch some football. The Dolphins. I think that's an important game to watch and see if they can take care of business against the Jets. Can they prove that they're legit? They're the team that's kind of I'm watching right now that could possibly making that playoff push too. So, again, it was a great episode tonight, and I hope everybody's gonna have a great weekend and stay safe. Watch some football. Happy holidays to everybody, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can't wait to see you, man. I did have, more plans coming around the corner, man. Episode on a bye week. It's always a lot of good fun, and we can't wait to get into it. As a quick reminder before I go to Jeudy and get his thoughts in, we go live every Tuesday, every Friday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We'd love to have you on board. Jump on YouTube, Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Jump over to Facebook, Rocky Mountain Sports Network, or the Denver Bronco Roundup page, and like, share, subscribe. We'd love that a ton. Hey, gotta wish happy birthday to Karen. It's only a few hours away for Karen, so hey, clap it up like we do, almost K&K style. Happy birthday, Karen. I hope you have a fantastic birthday, and I can't wait to see how much younger you are on the next episode. Jeudy, some final thoughts, sir.
I wasn't a fan of this late bye week, but actually it fell at the perfect time for the Broncos with Riley Moss's injury and then Brandon Jones tweaking the hammy Monday night. It fell at the perfect time. You get those two back for the Colts game. This is about as healthy. I mean, you're down Alex Singleton, and that's it. You're as healthy as can be. Find a run game over this bye week and make a push. The 5 seed is very realistic. You're only a half a game behind the Chargers. You play them The Ravens, I looked at their schedule today. They play the Browns. They play Houston still. They have tough games. They Steelers. So, I mean, they've got 3 tough games left. The 5 seed is very possible. And, that allows you to go play in Houston, one of the warm weather teams. Then you can throw it all over on them down there. So play for the 5 seed, and once you get in the playoffs, anything's possible.
Anything is possible, man. Anything is possible. Like an amazing episode, an amazing podcast because of the posse came in here early and often and just knocking it out of the park. We appreciate you so dang much. I'll do my best. Albert, Paul, Scott, David Yunkin that came in, Michael Ronquillo dropping stars. I did solidify that 100 stars. I appreciate you so much, Michael. It really does help us out and help us do nice things that I'm hoping are right around the corner. Our good friend Graham was in here of the K&K Sports Show. I forgot to mention he's of the K&K Sports Show, but he is as well. Roy Osborne, Albert Vallejo, thank you so much for jumping in here. Who else did we have in here? Of course, we had our good friend Pearl who came in. And, oh, my goodness, you're blowing it up here in a bunch of comments and a lot of talking back and forth. Scott, if I didn't mention it, Clayton came in here later. Karen, with her happy birthday, came in. I'm probably missing Albert, Mile High Dutchie. Can't forget him. He was the 4th horseman. No other names that really jumping out as I try to – oh,
David
yeah. David Yunkin. Did I not say David Yunkin? I missed David Yunkin. And hey, Patrick Wiltsey, by the way, Lion Coffee, man, getting me through this episode. Thank you so much, and aloha to you. Joining late, busy season. I get it, buddy. Shipping out all that amazing Lion Coffee all over, including my house. So, happy birthday, Karen. It looks like it was a 30th birthday. And hey, we got to get out of here. We're going to be back, though. Obviously, no post-game episode. So we're going to be back at you on Tuesday, unless something major comes around. Easy way to make sure. Like, share, and, of course, subscribe. If you're subscribing, you'll know if we have anything going on. Man. Anything I'm missing, Trevor? You're looking. You're like you're biting at the chomping at the bit there, buddy.
No, I just want to, our thoughts and prayers are with David, and obviously, with this health, we've seen that in the comments. I think we need to have to pay our respects to him, and our thoughts and prayers are with you, David, and everybody in the chat, I'm sure too, and everybody watching after. So, just want to acknowledge that, and our thoughts and prayers are with you, David. Hope you get to feeling better, man. Also, real quickly, Keith, Joan Ellis. Not a 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick.
Oh, sorry.
all good.
Yeah, now I feel like it's like that. What did we miss? What did we get wrong at the end of the show? We should have one of those guys, Maybe we shouldn't have one of those guys. Got to get out of here with a Mile High salute. We will get that Mile High salute in, but we're going to do it the right way. Yes, David, please take care.
I do have one last thing real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeudy.
The Hall of Fame committee gets an F for not putting Mike Shanahan in. He's a 2-time Super Bowl winning head coach, and why he's not the nominee this year is a joke. Him and Tom Coughlin are the only 2 head coaches with more than 1 Super Bowl that are not currently in. Both should be in, but especially Mike Shanahan. You just look around the league. Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, look what Atlanta Falcons did. The Saints. They got rid of Sean Payton's system and went and got Clint Kubiak, who runs Mike Shanahan's system. It's all over the NFL.
It is the NFL.
It's the NFL, and why he's not in is a joke, and the Hall of Fame committee gets an F, in my opinion.
Yes. You're getting absolutely all the agreement from the posse. Awesome, Jeudy. Yes, says Paul. Yes, says Keith. Awesome, says Keith. You're 100% right, man. This guy, I don't know why we get overlooked. And honestly, from a Hall of Fame committee perspective, I want to see these guys get in, not post-mortem. I'm sorry, but it happens way too often that we wait this stuff out and then their accolades are not seen by them, but they're only by their family members. Get Mike Shanahan in. There's footprints from left to right across the NFL because of what he did and the systems that he put into place and the Super Bowls that he won and the trees that came off of it. For crying out loud, I don't know why he can't get the respect. Trevor, if you want to add 2 cents before we get out of here, go ahead, buddy.
Whatever that was, the 2013 Redskins coaching staff. It had Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, I think I'm missing someone. Mike McDaniel. It had all those guys on there that are all now head coaches, and he can't get a head coach, and he can't get in the Hall of Fame to, back-to-back Super Bowl winning Super Bowl champ. It's a joke.
Yeah. Trevor, didn't want to add with such bitterness, but we were passionate about Mike Shanahan and what he did for the Denver Broncos and feel good about what he represents for the NFL. Any last thoughts on that before we jump on out?
Yeah, just all due respect, Mike Shanahan, he should be in. I don't know what it's taken so long. I'm just going to keep it short because I'm not on the Hall of Fame community, but man, come on, guys, it's time. I mean, this guy's not only did he make an impact in the NFL, he's continuing to make an impact in the NFL with Kyle Shanahan and the different offenses that these head coaches around the league are running now, not a different offensive mind. So it's been well past time for Mike Shanahan to get in. I don't understand it whatsoever. Get Mike Shanahan in. It's ridiculous it's taken this long.
Thanks, Jeudy. That was a great topic to bring up and need to be brought up. No, seriously, man. It's a topic of the week that shouldn't be just swept underneath the rug.
And you're right, because at some point Dan Reeves is going to get in. I mean, he took Denver to 3 Super Bowls, Atlanta to 1. He's never did win it, but 4 Super Bowls. And look now, I mean, he's deceased and he's not going to get to enjoy it. And it's just not the same. And I think it's one of the big mistakes that the Hall of Fame committee and the NFL makes every year.
Yeah, it's the travesty that I see, especially when it comes to coaches and stuff like that are brought in just a year or two after, just a year or two late. That being said, man, we're a little bit late getting it going over. We get passionate about our topics. We get passionate about what the posse brings in as well. Thank you all so much. We rambled on for probably the first 20 minutes on just what you guys had, and I even had another question I wanted to get to. So thank you so much for being a part of the show. You guys, again, all the likes, shares, subscribes, all the growth that we've seen. We appreciate you all so much, and we can't wait to be able to pay you back here very shortly. That being said, you pay us back every single time by watching our episodes and giving us those thumbs up. We'll see you on Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time for another fantastic episode. But we get out of here one way and one way only. Keep those boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, and, of course, the Denver Broncos in your heart. We're going to get out of here. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Enjoy football.